In this little video, I want to show you how you can extract and copy a melody. The first step is we need to isolate the melody. If there's like a lot of other things playing, like the bass and other instruments, then it will be really difficult to hear either the notes or put them in an analyzing software. So there are various options online which help you to actually extract stems or melodies out of tracks. There's a free one, it's called Deezer Splitter, and there's some add-on somebody program for Ableton. You can Google that and find that out. How that works, there's like paid stuff like Lala AI or Splitter AI, which let you extract vocals. There is this free one here, which I used a lot for extracting vocals of my track, and I found this VST, which also works pretty great, and you have a trial for 21 days, so you can definitely try it out if you have a project where you want to extract your stems. And as a short disclaimer, this is a sample from Gumroad, but I did the same thing like 20 minutes ago with a melody from a track, which I do a remix on, and it works exactly the same way. So the first thing is we have now our extracted stem here with the melody, and in the best case only the melody. Make also sure that there's no crazy warping or something on it so that it doesn't change the pitch. If you have a different BPM than in your track, then you may want to set the BPM for that technique to the BPM of the melody, and then we can start playing it. So let's take a first listen to the melody. So what's important is you can save some time if you already hear that some parts are more or less the same. So this one. So this one. And this one is the same to me. And as we want to compare the melody while we are doing it, and also once we have done it, we need a synth to compare it. And there's actually 3 methods which, in my opinion, all work equally good, but they have all the differences, and you can check out which one works best for you. So the first thing is you bring a synth with init preset. So init presets usually don't have a lot of stuff on them, like delays and reverbs, but they can also sometimes be quite annoying to listen to. So some synths have a little bit nicer init presets, which you can strip away the delays and reverbs, and some have very raw ones like Serum. You can try that. That's one option you can go by. The second option is that you choose a sound which is very, very similar. So in that case, I probably would choose a guitar, maybe like a flamenco style guitar if I have one in my library. Just make sure that you get rid of all the weird processing like delays, which makes it really hard for you to analyze this. And the third option, which I want to take with you, is that we basically chop out a sample. So in that case, we take the first sample here and we will drag this over here. And then we have a sample here, but the problem is the sample is in a different key, and we want to get the sample to C, because the simpler works like that. If you put the sample in C3, it plays it at the original pitch. If you play 1 semitone higher, then it will pitch the sample 1 semitone higher. So that's why we need to get the sample first to C. And the technique we are following will be more or less the same through the progress of this melody. If I play this melody here and I open the span analyzer, then I'm usually looking at the first harmonic here, because that's in a lot of cases the one which determines the pitch or the tone of the melody. And if it's not this one, then it's usually the highest one. And especially on this melody, if we play it, you will notice that this is quite stable, as well as this one. Where it really starts moving is here. And that's where we're gonna pick our melody from. Just saying, the melody I used before to pick the notes it was usually the first or the second harmonic. So that's something you need to find out a little bit and investigate, where you kind of like see the movement and if the movement is coherent with what you are hearing. So usually, even if you don't have good pitch hearing, you usually can hear if it's going up or down. So that's at least something you should figure out, or that's not stable at least. So we know we are probably using this one here. So let's give it a try. If we take the first note, we can see very clearly that we are on F sharp. So now, if we want to have this playing here on C3, and we are on F sharp, then we need to pitch it down by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So let's do that. We have the sampler open here. We use warp, use complex. It usually doesn't distort the sound in a crazy way. And then you can either go in here, one shot, transpose, or you can use the controls over here, which I will do, and I will pitch it down by 6 semitones. So let's quickly compare the sound. This is obviously higher. And also notice, as I went down to C3, we are now playing C3 and not F sharp. So the first thing is we need to go to F. Sounds quite the same, I would say. With that, we can work. So let's use both. And you can do this now by ear as a training. So if you would go like this and you play both, then it usually sounds off. And you can just start moving it around, and then you will see if it fits when it plays together. So that easy by ear. Then the second thing, what you can use is the same as I've already shown you. You can use the span analyzer to pick it. And the third thing you can try is you can put a tuner in here. And once you hit it, you should get on this one. So this one is usually moving a little bit fast. But on this one, I think you can get better results usually. You can see basically that it's on F sharp and it has some vibrato on it, so that's why it's wiggling around. And so that's basically your 3 tools. The easiest one is the tuner, because if it shows you the right pitch, it's quite easy actually to pick it up. And the second one is the span analyzer, where you can have a deeper look and you need to decide a little bit for yourself which of these harmonics is really making the sound. And the third one is your ears, which as a beginner is quite hard, but it definitely works, as you have seen with the comparison. You can definitely hear if something is off then. Which is the easiest, I think, if you use a sampler, but it works also with the inner preset or like a similar preset. So let's go on here. So the next step is to figure out the rhythm, which is also really easy. So you can just look into the waveform and you will see where the transients begin. So we have here one note, and we have here one note, and we have here one note. And by the way, why is this not on a grid? So the next issue we're actually having here, this melody particular is not on a grid. Let me quickly chop that out for you and move them. It's really important that we don't use warping, because that will change the pitch. We're only interested in the melody, and we want to have it really nicely on the grid, because that makes our life easier. And if we want to place it later off the grid again, we can still do that. Chopped it everywhere where a new note starts, and now we can put on the grid again, and we can just move it around so that it really fits nicely into the grid. Okay, maybe like that. So the next step we do then is we extend this MIDI here. We don't care about the pitch so far. We will just put in the rhythm. So it is like this. This note is a bit shorter. It goes like this, and there's some fade out. This one looks more or less like a dotted. This one goes over here. And this one I didn't move so well. So let's move it. nicely in here. And then we have this long note like this. And now we can make use of our tools. So we have 3 tools in our repertoire. So the first one is the tuner, which is the easiest one. If the tuner really shows you a clear result, then you can go for it and you can still check with the other tools. The second one is the span, which I think is the best tool in combination with the third one. So the span is a really great tool to pick and see what's happening in the frequency spectrum. And the frequency spectrum almost never lies. It's just you need to interpret it the right way. And that's where your search tool comes. Even if you have multiple options in the frequency spectrum, you usually figure it easily out by ear then if it's off. I know it's quite hard to really say, okay, that's that pitch, it's F sharp or something, or it's 3 semitones higher. That needs really trained ears. But if you have something locked in on the right pitch, you usually feel it. And if it's like 1 off, then you usually have a lot of tension because of the relationship of those 2 notes, and you will also feel it. And we can use a combination of that. So we go over here and we loop this. And now we have this problem that if we loop this, we have the next note in here, and that makes it a little bit confusing for the tuner and also for the span. We can just cheat a little bit and move this over here. And as you can see, the tuner shows very clearly G. This also shows very clearly G4. So why not go with G4? So we undo one time, we lock in our next note, G4. Actually, if that's G4, then I think this one probably also was an octave higher. F sharp 4. So we go like this, F sharp 4, G4. And now the thing comes because our sample we put into the sampler already has this extra octave in. But I want to do something very quickly. I want to put like a -12 MIDI effect here so that we can really type in the melody as it's shown. And then so basically I'm pitching down here, and now I'm moving everything that's to the right pitch. So we move this one also 1 up. And we have the same sound again. So basically we didn't change anything, but we have the correct melody later. And if you enjoyed this video so far, then please hit the like button because it helps me to spread the video. And also let me know in the comments if you're interested in other techniques, then I can make videos about this. Okay, so we go with the next one. Duplicate, loop, A or A sharp. And I guess the tuner is wrong here. I guess it's E this time. So we will do the following. We will just take this here and we will check it with E and we will check it with A. So let's do a quick check with E. I also duplicate it here so that we have the same thing going on. And now we'll check it with A. I think E is pretty good. No, that doesn't sound right. So it's good that I can show you that tuner is actually not always right. So we put this to E. Also, we need to make sure that we get this one here back. So I will just undo. And now we will put this to E. So the next one. Same step again. I'm sure it's F sharp. Also the tuner shows F sharp, so we can go with F sharp. So let's check the next one. G4. What does the tuner show? G. So we will try that. Let's put a G on this. And then we have 2 left here. You can also move it back. F sharp again. Honestly, actually, I prefer the span over the tuner. I just wanted to show you what's possible. So we already have F sharp here. So let's check the last one. And the last one is E4, which also makes sense as the melody is in E and then it resolves nicely in the end. It's a final step. We want to double check everything. So let's listen first to this one. I think we might have a failure somewhere in here. So we want to check everything again, if we have been right or if we have been wrong. So that should be a G. We have a G here. So let's take a look at the next one here. There's actually one thing I should mention because it's important. If you have overtones, they usually are multiples of the fundamental. So our fundamental frequency here is 333 Hertz. And double is 666 Hertz and it's E5. Or more roundabout thing. And then the third one is actually 3 times, it's 999. So it's this one. So that's also one thing you can use as a little helper in the if you check it in the frequency spectrum, if that fits. So we should have E. And we also have E here. So let's check this one. F sharp also looks pretty good. Now it will be tough. Now what I will do is I want to compare node by node, and I will drag them out a bit here. So I quickly prepared a separate section here in which I copied this part out and just stretched the nodes so that we can get a better feeling and really A/B them and see where we feel the most difference. I really feel here, I don't know if you noticed, but this one sounds quite coherent to me. This one also. So this one here sounds a bit creepy, I would say. So we need to find out what happened here that we have this difference. And I have an assumption. If we look into this wave, I would say there's basically 3 parts to it in which we can look to. And it looks to me like this. And I want to look to all of those. Okay, so this is F sharp. This is G. And this is also F sharp. So maybe there is something in which lets that node collide. Let's hear this again. So it makes that wow, wow, wow. I'm not a guitar player, maybe that's some weird guitar trick or something, but I think what we need, and I'm not even sure if that works here, is we need to adapt this melody in order to have F sharp, which becomes G at some point. You know, something like that, I think will do the trick, maybe. Yeah, I think we're getting closer, but to be honest, I think this would be like another tutorial to pitch bend this the right way, and it's probably not an easy way. Just I wanted to show you that sometimes there are surprises. It was actually a surprise for me because I didn't know that melody has this. But I wanted to show you actually how easily you can dig into stuff if you just cross-copy it a lot. But still, I think if we listen to this melody, we got very, very good results, which you can use for any like further investigations or to learn how the melody was written, or if you want to use another synth because you're making a remix or something, then this is definitely something for your toolbox, I would say. So let's quickly play this one more time. Yeah, it bends a bit too long. I think it's going faster, actually, the whole bend. I mean, I made it like now over the whole note here, basically. That's probably too much. I'm pretty happy with the result, to be honest. And if you're a guitar player, let me know what cool trick is that actually to... Is it maybe if you're sliding with your fingers or something? I don't know. I never played a guitar. So let me know in the comments what this actually is, what this move is. And if you really want to level up your Psytrance production, then we're starting a new course with Lunatica in May. So Lunatica is also playing the Boom Festival this year. So it's a really top-notch artist where you can learn everything what you need if you want to succeed in Psytrance production. As you know, I learned so much myself from Lunatica. So basically my current EP is #1 in the release charts, and it was #6 in the single charts, and it's still on the top positions, maybe if you look it up once I release the video. And I can really recommend you Lunatica as a teacher. He has done great stuff to my production and to many others. So if you really want to level up your game and get unstuck and move forward in your music, in your sound, and you really want to develop your sound, then the Psytrance Academy is the program for you. I will link to the video up here where you find more information and in the description box below. And if you like the video so far, then please hit the thumbs up button. That helps me to spread the video, and also it shows me that you are interested in this kind of topics and I can make more content like this.